Hi guys, welcome back. This is Crystal with Emerson Aurora Design, and this is how I made my Potions Drip Tumbler. I started out with an 18-ounce double-walled acrylic tumbler. I purchased these in a multi-pack from Amazon. I can leave those in the link below. I really like these. I like the lids, and I like the size for these, my drip tumblers. I'm going to do a little something different that I haven't tried before with my drip tumblers. I'm going to try the lava lamp technique. So I'm going to make 3 different colored tumblers. I'm going to do a red, like a blood red. I'm going to do a lime, kind of a toxic lime green. And I'm also going to try a deep purple that's perfect for Halloween. I'm using these different products, different colored alcohol inks, mica powders. In the green one, I'm going to add some glow powder. I have vegetable glycerin here that I'm going to use for my drip portion, and the baby oil is for the main part of the liquid. So I'm going to use my Dremel, and I'm going to drill a hole about half the size of a dime in the bottom of my tumbler. Just the first layer. You don't want to cut through to the inner layer because then your cup will be no good. These type of cups are kind of trial and error. Acrylic cups are relatively cheap, so you could probably find one for fairly inexpensive to experiment on to see if you like doing these tumblers. So I'm going to protect my workspace here with this plastic tablecloth, and I'm going to mix my vegetable glycerin. This is the portion of the lava lamp that will have the color. So I'm just kind of guesstimating how much to put in my cup. I wasn't really sure, but you know, I just kind of go with the flow. So I'm going to use this alcohol ink here from Piñata. I'll leave all my products that I'm using in the description box below, but really you can use any color that you'd like. I wanted a really bright, vibrant color here with the red, and I wanted to add some glitter to this one. I'm not adding any mica to the red. I'm just using the alcohol ink, glitter, and you'll see that I wanted a little bit more of an opaque color to my my red, so I am going to add just a little bit of some red alcohol, or I'm sorry, some red acrylic paint to that. And here I'm adding some chunky red to give it a bit of bling sparkle. My acrylic paint was a little thick. It had been sitting on my shelf for a long time, so I was having a hard time getting it out of out of my jar. But that's okay. Just mix it in really well. It will mix into the glycerin. You just have to give it, be patient with it and keep stirring. So at first I only had drilled one hole in this tumbler. Usually in the past I drill 2. I don't know why I decided to just do 1, but you'll see that really if you only drill 1 hole, your glycerin mixture won't flow into the tumbler very well. So I do go in and I just make a small, kind of just the size of my drill bit hole to allow for air ventilation for that liquid to go in easier. If you don't do this, then the mixture wants to bubble out, and then it's really hard to get it down in there. You have to allow it to have some airflow to go in. So now it's going in easier. I know this is a bad angle, it's hard to see, but I'm essentially just pouring it into the tumbler there, and it will go down to the bottom. And I want it about 1/3 full with the color mixture. All acrylic double-walled tumblers are a little bit different in size, so you just gotta play with it and pour it in until you get it to the height that you want. These tumblers are a lot of fun to make. They make a mess. My hands were so sticky, I had to keep washing them. And then once you apply the baby oil, they're slimy. So just do your best to clean up as you go. Now here I'm pouring in the baby oil, and I'm going to pour in the baby oil just directly into the tumbler. There's no colors or additives added to it because I want that portion to be completely clear. I'm pouring it until it gets to the top, and I am leaving just a little bubble at the top. That allows for the drips to drain down really well. And you want to clean the bottom of the tumbler really well with some rubbing alcohol. It cuts through that grease of the baby oil so that you can get a good adherence to make your plug. So I'm using cabinet bumpers. I didn't really show them very well here, but I will link another video, previous one that I've made of these to show you. And I'm going to just trim that down to get the right size fit for the hole that I made. It's fairly easy and it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want it to be able to plug the hole as closely as you can. These are just little, I guess they're silicone based plugs that you would use for cabinet bumpers. So you can see I put it in there and it kind of popped down in a little bit, but that's okay. Just make sure you wipe it off with your rubbing alcohol. And I'm going to apply my UV resin directly to that plug and just try to smooth it out as best I can. I purchased this UV resin from Amazon. I'm really happy with it. It dries nicely and it cures really hard to the touch, so I'm happy with that. I am going to put several layers of this on there once I get this main plug done. So for this little hole that I drilled, I'm just taking one of the little pieces of silicone bumper that I had trimmed off the previous one and shoving it down in there. If you hold your tumbler so that the bubble is directly under your drill hole, it keeps, especially on the second hole, it keeps the sticky baby oil from popping through as you're trying to put your plug in. It just kind of saves you a little bit of time. And you can see I didn't have the right size there, so I had too much baby oil in there. So I'm going to suction some out with my little pipette here. So just to pull some of that solution out. This is the first one that I did, and it's always kind of a struggle. I haven't done these liquid tumblers in a while. These tumblers are so fun. They're a little quicker to make than regular epoxy tumblers, because really you only have to do one coat of epoxy, and I'll show you that here in just a bit. But I love seeing how they turn out. They're so much fun and they're so satisfying. I saw this new technique with the lava lamp drips on TikTok. A couple different artists have been doing them, and I thought it was so much fun. I'm like, oh gosh, I have to try this. Perfect for Halloween tumblers. So now we're nice and sealed. At this point, if you wanted to, you could do the drip test. Flip your tumbler over. Make sure that you don't have any leaks. But I'm just going to go ahead and keep putting a couple more layers of the UV resin over top to guarantee that I don't have any drips, any leaks. I always like to seal my bases with UV resin that has some color to it, so it kind of hides those plugs. So I'm going to mix the glitter and red alcohol ink to match my drips to seal the bottom of this tumbler. It's just an added touch and it just looks so much better. You can't see the plugs and it adds to the tumbler, I think. So you can mix this directly into your UV resin, just like you would with epoxy resin. And I'm just going to apply it directly to the base and use my little silicone makeup brush to spread that out evenly. You can get bubbles in UV resin, so what I usually do is I'll spread this out where I want it, and then I'll take a little spray bottle of rubbing alcohol and give it a little spritz that helps to pop any bubbles. You could also use a lighter on this to pop bubbles. I usually don't. I just use my rubbing alcohol. It seems to do the trick. I wouldn't recommend using a torch. This is an acrylic tumbler, so you take a chance of it melting. So I'm going to cure that really well. I think I went over it for a total of like 4 minutes with my UV light. And here is what it looks like so far. You can see this lava lamp drip and it's just so cool. The glycerin is heavier than the rubbing alcohol, similar to oil and water, and they shouldn't mix. It's the coolest thing. I just think it's the coolest technique I've seen by far. I think it's perfect for Halloween tumblers. Perfect for Halloween tumblers. So now I'm going to do my decals. I actually printed these on translucent sticker paper I purchased from Amazon. I'll show it to you here. It's Wheeloo, or yeah, I guess, translucent sticker paper, but you can use any clear sticker paper that you like. You don't have to cut these out perfectly to the edge. In the end, they do become translucent all the way around, just like a water slide would once you put your epoxy on. I wanted to use the clear sticker paper. I think it's easier to use that on here than a water slide since I'm going directly over the acrylic. I guess you could use water slide if you wanted to. I haven't tried it that way yet though. So I have 3 different decals because I have 3 different tumblers. I'm going to use the heart potion, the love potion for the red, the poison toad toxin for the green, and polyjuice potion for my purple tumbler. I thought those were fitting. I am a Harry Potter fan, and these reminded me of Harry Potter potions. So you can see that the translucent sticker paper does have a little bit of a smoky look to it, but don't worry, it will disappear after our epoxy layer. Here's how the green tumbler turned out. That has the mica, the alcohol ink, and the glow powder in it. So you can see it's more opaque than the red one. It really looks like a toad poison toxin to me, doesn't it? and my Polyjuice potion. For this one I used a purple mica and a dark purple alcohol ink. So while those are on the turner, I did apply a layer of epoxy to those, just one. I'm going to go ahead and add some bling to my toppers. I have these different colored rhinestones, and I'm going to use various different colors for each tumbler that's coordinated to it. The one I'm going to show you is how I bling out my red one. This is the glue I'm using. I'll link it in the description box below. I guess it's a glue that's used for rhinestoning. I usually like to use Liquid Fusion, but I was out of it. But this one is fine. It goes on white, but it dries clear, and it's perfectly fine. You'll see at the end how pretty these toppers look. So I have these ruby colored rhinestones, and they're in multiple colors, so I'm going to cover the top completely with just the ruby colored ones. I am a former dance mom. My daughter did competitive dance for years, so I was always rhinestoning her costumes, and when she was too old to continue with dance and became an adult, I was sad, so I was so happy to be able to find another outlet for my craving to do rhinestones, and tumblers are it. It's tedious, but there's just something so soothing about placing rhinestones on my tumblers. So I'm just adding some glue here. I added a little too much, but it doesn't matter. It will dry clear. The straw hole and the edge of this tumbler have a little bit of a lip to it. So I'm just following that around as close as I can and just laying my rhinestones down. And since these are multi-sized, I'm just going to go around and fit in different sizes where the hole openings are between the rhinestones to get good coverage for it. I'm going to place these just up to that lip of the outer edge of the topper, and I'm going to leave it like that. I didn't want to add bling all the way completely around the whole lid. I just wanted a little bit of added bling to it. This jewel applicator that I'm using I purchased from Amazon. I'll leave that in the link below, and I'll add a link to the ruby rhinestones that I purchased also from Amazon. If you wanted to add a little bling to your tumblers, Amazon's the place to go for your rhinestones. They're relatively cheap and they have such a pretty sparkle to them. I've been using them for a couple years now, and I'm so happy with them. They wash really well. You have to hand wash anything that we make. And I've had a fully rhinestoned water bottle that I've been using for a couple years now, and I haven't lost any rhinestones, and they sparkled so pretty. Obviously, I'm speeding this up. There's no person that can rhinestone this fast. But there it is when the glue's still wet, and that's as far as I'm going with those rhinestones. So these tumblers are done. I did add a layer of epoxy over my outer, the outer edge over the decals. Sorry, I can't talk today. And you can see how that translucent sticker paper really does disappear, and it just looks like the label. These are the most fun tumblers that I've made in a while. You can see how pretty my bling is. I made a little design on the purple one. These are perfect for Halloween. I hope you guys give this a try because this is probably one of the most inexpensive and fun things you can do with a tumbler. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you hit that subscribe button to see more of my tumblers coming. Drop me a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Happy crafting, everyone, and happy Halloween.